We'll open it right up to questions.
Okay.
How's it feel to be back at work and all that, on the field?
Feels great to be home. You know, first off, thankful for Coach Collins for bringing me here, and just working with these guys every day. They give us their all. Everything that we're laying down, they're picking up. It's a fun group to coach.
I know you like to move guys around a little. What has that been like, and are any guys settling into maybe certain roles back there?
Yeah, we've got guys that are earning spots every day. You can tell by the different helmet stripes that they get. They earn those every day, and then we believe in position flexibility. So we've got guys playing nickel, we've got playing safety. They got to come in and play our field side safety. So we build depth. That's what we want to do first, elite depth.
One of the first people that Coach Collins kind of called out as being a leader is Wanye. How have you seen him kind of taken that role, even as a sophomore?
Naturally, he has a lot of juice, a lot of energy. He has a great attitude, and I think that goes a long way. People look for him. He's like our little energy plug. So like if you have a little block charger for your iPhone, that's who they plug into. And watching him kind of grow from that, just gaining more and more confidence, because he's playing a lot. He's doing well on the field, and he's actually doing better in the classroom too. His whole walk of life is doing well. So, you know, he's just going to continue on that path.
You inherited kind of the most probably talented room on the defensive side. Has that made this transition a little easier for you as a coach versus maybe some of the other groups that are kind of trying to piece together or just don't have enough bodies and that kind of thing?
Well, really, I was hoping they'd be the worst group so I could really be the best coach. But, yeah, I'm just thankful for the guys that I have. They play well. They're a smart young group, and they're getting better. And the best thing about them is they want to do well. They want to succeed, and they also want to see their teammates succeed, whether it's Wanye or Avy Scholl or Gentry Bonds or Tariq. We got some elite depth, and we're going to continue to build that.
How did you first notice Wanye's leadership and that juice? What did you first see?
It was probably the first day that we were here, and we greeted the team as they came in from their break. First day they got to know us, he was coming to us and introducing himself. And as a All-American as a freshman, that's the kind of guy that you already know, you know, so he didn't take that for granted. He just had that natural instinct of emotional intelligence just to reach out to other people.
When Gentry got here, he had the word potential in front of his name. Really hasn't gotten a chance to play. Where do you see him now, and how is he progressing?
Just like everybody's got to develop day by day. Everybody's getting better, whether it's Gentry, whether it's Jerk Cole. I mean, everybody's just doing better, you know, and you have to progress in this defense, and you have to earn your stripes. He just got to continue to show up every day and do as best he can.
When it comes to Coach Collins being a defensive-minded coach, and then Coach Thacker,
he's a great defensive-minded coach.
Exactly.
And Coach Thacker is an excellent mind as a defensive coach. Yes.
I mean, and you, of course, co-defensive coordinator. How does that dynamic kind of work between the three of y'all?
We are very similar, but we're not the same. The best thing is our relationship off the field. We're all friends, and we all trust each other off the field. So when anything arises, it's just like you're hanging out with people, you know, around a campfire.
Yeah.
So we just have a great relationship. And then I trust everything Coach Collins does and said. There's a reason for everything he does. There's a method to the madness. There's a reason for the chaos. And Coach Thacker really is, he's a brilliant mind. He's a brilliant mind. He's fun to be around.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, sometimes there can be too many voices. How do y'all kind of keep the message to the defense kind of cohesive and that everybody's on the same page?
We follow the chain of command. I mean, Coach Collins allows Coach Thacker to be himself, so he doesn't step on Coach Thacker's toes when it's time to be the DC. If he needs to take over as head coach, he will, but that's his role. My job is just to make Coach Thacker's job easier. Anything that he needs from me, that's what I do for him. So I try not to step on anybody's toes.
Carpenter said that you're technique-driven because that's the kind of player you were. Have you been hammering these guys with technique?
Just trying to make sure, because when all falls apart, you're going to rely on your training, and that technique's going to be the first thing that go, and that's going to determine whether you're 6 inches away from a play or 2 feet away from a play. And yes, I played at the ACC level, not because of my athleticism, but because I had to figure out how my body worked. Had good coaches here that instructed me properly on how to play, and I earned some playing time by the time I got out of here because of it.
Here's the nickel spot. I'd imagine you could either have them with the corners or the safeties. I'm curious, how is that decision made? Like, how does the nickel fit with the safeties do?
So the nickel body can be anybody in our defense. He can be a linebacker, he can be a safety, he could be a corner. So we're all actually teaching the nickel out of our individual rooms. So Coach Thacker, if it's a linebacker, will have him. If it's a safety, I'll have him. If it's a corner, Coach Pop will have him. The reason, because they need to hear the nickel and their other position. So what we do is we meet together as a defense all the time, the full defense coaches. We're never separate. For the most part, we're together so that we're all speaking the same language and using the same terms.
Can you talk a little bit about Caleb? It seems like from the bit we get to see, he's having a pretty good spring.
Yeah, you can see my eyes light up when you talk about Caleb. He's a great kid. He's doing things. He's working hard. He's just fun to be around. He's figuring out how to play the football game at a high level, playing with great technique, playing with good poise. He's a good kid outside the classroom too.
It seems like your system you guys use, running a lot of reps, and it seems to have really kind of infected all of the guys, whether they're NA group, B group, C group, or whatever. They seem to really be enjoying themselves. You feel like that kind of helps maybe increase their performance?
I mean, I think you come to college to play football, and standing on the sideline during a practice and you don't participate, you don't feel like you're part of the team as much. The way we practice, you feel like you're a part of the team and you get to participate, and you feel yourself getting better because you're getting reps. We've got guys at Carlson, one of our corners, and he's got 1 million reps this year. And he's starting to dress different. He's got a little bit of swag about him. His teammates know him and love him now. You know, he's getting some reps out there. That doesn't happen other places.
So that's all part of, rather than having a depth chart being looking for guys above the line, everyone knows that they have a chance.
Right. The problem is if you build a depth chart, that changes due to injury. If we build above the line, we know who's going to play for us in the game. And that's why we do what we do. We want to have guys ready to play at any time. Special teams first, then offense and defense. If you're not above the line, you can't play. Depth chart changes all the time. We don't want that to happen.
It sounded like at your intro press conference that it still really hadn't sunk in.
Still hasn't?
No.
Still hasn't. So when I moved home, I really moved home. I'm living with my parents in Melbourne right now. So we were out for a birthday party the other night and I had to be home by 11. You know, so it's a shock every day and a pleasure that I get to come home and be here every day.
Well, there's the added bonus of grandkids, right?
That's right.
I defer some of the attention.
I got 4 boys, and I don't get any attention home. That's all them. They are chaotic themselves. Good kids, right, Brittany? Right, but they're good kids.
Because they take after you.
No, her. She's a smart one.
Curious, just how do you feel like the learning process is going as far as where you'd like them to be, you know, in terms of what they've adored and what they can do?
For where we are now, what was this, practice 6 or 7? Something like that. We'll go with it, right? Practice 7. We've got 86% of our defense in. That doesn't happen at this point. I mean, we've got all our packages in. So the volume that we have, that creates a chaotic environment as well. But the volume, they're handling it and they're studying it and they're processing it faster and faster. As coaches, we want it to be obviously faster and cleaner and crisper, but they're getting the bulk of it.
A couple of the guys talked about that you're suiting the work to the talent level, to the skills that those guys have, rather than necessarily trying to defense a specific offense. Does that sound about right?
Right. We're going to utilize the guys that are in the program. We want to be successful and give them a chance to be successful. So whatever they do well, we'll be able to coach well.
You mentioned when you played you weren't the most athletic, but your technique took as you were on the field. Is there a guy you've seen who might be under the radar now who kind of reminds you of you?
I necessarily don't want to pick out anybody in particular because there's actually several guys. But guys like Avery Scholler are working real hard. Caleb Oliver's working really hard. And even Wanye just improving on his technique to allow him to play defense at an efficient high level. I mean, you can see it across the board. Not a dark horse because we're all dark horses here, right? Everybody's going to have a chance to shine.
A couple more for Coach?
Chris, Wanye, he obviously, in his limited opportunity last year, he did really well and seems like someone that has a world of potential. I'm curious, as you've seen him progress, what you feel like he can be for you back there.
He can be our field general. I mean, he can be a leader out there. When things are going bad, he's got the juice and energy to fix it. So does Christian Campbell, so does Tariq. I mean, they're all good, young, sharp players.
When you look at the combo of Wanye and Tariq, do you think, wow, with the athleticism from these two, these guys have a chance to be really good?
Right. If I was on the opposing team looking at this, I said, man, there's some big dudes out there. You know, they're violent, they're physical, they're fast. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch. It's a good group.
I imagine it was nice to inherit a group of safeties too. They're almost as big as your linebackers.
That's right.
Physically. it's a little bit different than a lot of schools.
Yeah, I like to coach guys that are as tall as I am. You know, it's fun to have. Gives them position flexibility too, whether they line up as a nickel or if we do sub packages where they're a dime, we can alter what we want to do defensively because of their skill set.
Anything else?
With free and strong, like what do you look for with each?
Free is a little bit more to the field, so you just got to have more of an expansive coverage aspect, and the strong is the freeze to the boundary. You got to be a little bit better of a tackler, but really we're trying to learn free and strong. Eventually we'll be playing left and right because of the tempo of the game, so eventually we'll learn everything.